Good day, dear friends. Welcome to this edition of Lionel Legal. Think of this as your law school class for those who are so inclined to perhaps delve into a world that they think they know by virtue of the internet or watching TV or something along those lines. I don't know why, but sometimes people will think that they know what is going on. They understand, I think, because maybe they read the news or they confuse politics with the law. And they don't understand that it is incumbent upon all of us to uphold the Constitution. And the Constitution and criminal procedure are manifest. I have suggested before, many, many times, that when it comes to, for example, abortion, Roe against Wade and really Casey is constitutionally specious. It is a total waste of time. It doesn't make any sense. It has something to do with whether I believe that abortion should be legal or whether I'm pro choice. It doesn't matter. The political aspects have nothing to do with the legal aspects. There was I tend to be personally against the death penalty, not because of any moral reasons, but because I think that the government is too incompetent to put people in prison, much less determine who dies. And the other day we had somebody who was put to death. And even though I would say I am not a fan of capital punishment, I would say 100% that the Constitution provides for it because of the Fifth and 14th Amendment. It provides that you can take somebody's life, liberty, and property so long as there is due process. By the same token, I am what you would call pro-choice in terms of abortion, meaning I don't want a woman to be put into prison if she has an abortion, though I am personally against abortion. I don't like abortion. But there's something in the Constitution that provides a constitutional basis for abortion because it's a concept called substantive due process, which doesn't make any sense. So the legal is here, constitutional here, and the political is here. I don't particularly care for Eric Adams as a mayor. And the way you get rid of him is you vote him out of office or you put somebody else in but you don't get somebody out of office by charging them criminally if there's nothing there. Same thing with President Trump. I happen to be a staunch advocate of a Trump reelection. And I think this lawfare case, by the way, his Tish James case in New York, if the oral arguments are indicative of anything, this case really stinks. This guy was charged with basically a fraud where no one claimed the fraud. But in any event, let's talk about Eric Adams, shall we? The mayor of New York. Is he guilty? Juries decide that. Should he have been charged? A grand jury decided that. What does that mean, a grand jury indicted? What does that mean? That means they found probable cause. And what's the best definition of probable cause? He probably did it. And as my friend, the inimitable, the ineffable, the wonderful, the great, the wonderful Saul Waxler coined the phrase, a good prosecutor on any given day can indict a ham sandwich. That was Saul Waxler. A good and noble Jew, by the way, he said, out of all things, he could have been pastrami, but anyways, ham sandwich. So that's all that means. It's probable cause. Now it goes before a petty jury. This was the grand jury. Now it's a petty jury to determine whether the federal government can meet its burden beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. Now let's look at this case. Let's look at the charges against him. And remember, this has nothing to do with whether I like him as a mayor. The issues are completely different. This, as you know, is a 5-count indictment brought against Eric Adams, the 110th mayor. First time ever to be charged while in office. He's the second African American mayor after David Dinkins. He is aside from being the first to be charged. I think there were two mayors, Jimmy Walker and O'Dwyer. They resigned prior to their term. But when you look at the four corners of the indictment, it looks pretty serious. All indictments do. All indictments do. All police substances all look good. If you look at a traffic ticket, speeding ticket. By the way, one time years ago, I was defending a just regular drunk driving case, which is the most interesting case to be before a jury because it's the only case where 90% of the jury has committed the crime. When you're talking about, when you're talking about, armed robbery, most jurors, they don't do that. But drunk driving, a lot of them have done this. Like they have kind of sort of a frame of reference. And I was reading this thing called the AIR, the Alcohol Influence Report, and it said under eyes, bloodshot, watery, cross. And I said, where's normal? Where's normal? There's no place to check for normal. How about LGBTQIA? Where is hetero? Do they not exist? So this is obviously skewed one particular way versus another. Do you see how I'm saying? You see how this works? Are you following this? Of course you are. Now, the government, federal government, is alleging that the Turkish government, Turkish officials apparently saw Eric Adams as some rising star, some force to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? And they wanted to pin their hopes to groom, to condition, to habituate, to condition him, to get him used to influence and the like. Now, let's go through this. Apparently, they thought we're going to give him opulent rooms, hotel rooms, upgrades, first class, and this is the benefit of the bribery. We got some problems with this one we'll talk about. So let's go through this very carefully and listen to what is being said. Remember, if the jury says, no, we think that's good enough, then that's fine. The campaign contribution violations, they're serious. Those are a little bit different. But you have to read all of this very, very carefully. We've not heard of, nor would you hear, the defenses. Well, what does he have to do? Does he have anything to say? There was allegations of these straw men, folks who were used to funnel unlawful contributions. These straw men. The mayors giving out favors to contributors. Well, we'll see. As we'll see. Let me go through and let me give you another side of it. Remember, this has nothing to do with liking him. You don't have to like or be a Democrat or Republican. It has nothing to do with this. Okay. Many of the gifts and the tchotchkes and the bribes, if you will, from Turkey and Turkish officials and Turkish folks were appreciated, were given in terms of upgrades on flights to business or business class or maybe expensive hotel suites. Now, this is tough because it's not clear, according to this, whether Eric Adams, did he understand specifically the logistics? Is he sitting there and saying, okay, listen, you're going to give me an upgrade, right? We're going from here to Istanbul. Is that it? Okay, I want an upgrade. I want free Wi-Fi. We get that too, right? Did he do this? Did he have to include this in annual reports? Now, this is another thing too. I hate to tell you this, but people like Eric, especially Eric, because when he came into office, oh man, he thought he was gonna be the belle of the ball. Oh God, look at me. They love me. Oh God, they were taking him out to Rayos, and you could tell every developer, everybody said, yeah, Eric, we like you. The last year, they would have not even given him the time of day. Oh, no, no. Hey, listen, we're going to throw a party for you at the Hamptons. You don't mind that, do you? Yeah. Oh, you're one of us. Sure. Why didn't we call you before? I don't know, but we love you now. Oh, you're cool. Yeah. Hmm. You're part of the hedge fund, Wall Street developer crowd. We love you. Not because you're mayor. We just love you. Right. Okay. And Eric knew this, but he's used to being pampered. He's used to being this. And that's not necessarily bribery. And when you're when you're I hate to say it, but when you're a celebrity, oh my God. I one time went to, I'll never forget. I'm not going to mention the part, but I was at the Carnegie Deli. And I'm not going to mention who it was, but there was somebody that you would have known. And Sandy Levine was a proprietor, a great friend of mine. I was on the menu at the Carnegie Deli. I still have my Carnegie Deli menu. And oh, this was in the old days. This was in the meat days. Oh, the place was fantastic. In any event, so there was a guy who came up and he said, "Hey, listen, here's the tab. You're going to take care of this, aren't you?" I never heard this before. I thought, what? This guy's a gazillionaire. I'm thinking, and Sandy said, "Oh, of course, okay, of course." And I said, I could not believe it. He said, he says, you've got to look. This is what they do. I was one time with a fellow I knew. He's a very, very famous Hollywood type. We were at a place, and he said, "Come on, let's go. We're done. We had drinks. Come on, let's go." I said, "Well, look, you're going to go to the tab?" He goes, "No, let's just go." So what do you mean we're going to go? He said, "No, we're here. I'm here. People get to see me here. It helps them." I said, "Wait a minute. What are you talking about?" He was going to just leave, not even give the guy a tip. I couldn't believe this. This is the way these people think all the time. So when you're Eric Adams and you walk into me, oh, our best menu, oh, sure, come on in. That's not bribery. That's greasing the skids because you're a big shot. Does that make any sense to you? You're a big shot and they're used to it and they want it. And that may not necessarily be illegal. And that may not be necessarily something that you're going to have to report. Do you remember AOC? There was the Met Gala one year, and there was a designer dress she wore, and it said "Tax the Rich," which is the ultimate in irony. And the dress, see, she said it was loaned to her, despite that it was made specifically to fit her. It was almost like it was perfectly tailored. She didn't pay for her ticket to the gala, which would be about 35,000. They had an ethics investigation. I don't know what happened to it. But this is she's in New York, whatever. As she went, she had a dress. So in that one event, she basically had almost, I think they said 100 and something, 10,000. Who knows? She nobody knows exactly what happened. I mean, this is something that people go through all the time. She had the let me see, this was in 2022. She had an ethics investigation. She you know where that went? Nowhere. Nowhere. So that's the point. Did she, now here's the thing. Maybe she violated the law by not reporting it. Was it bribery? No. What did she do? Did she sign off on any legislation? No. Did she do anything in particular? No. She just took something for free. Okay. Now, remember, that's a bit of a problem. We'll get to this in a moment. Now, this is a weird form of corruption, if you think about this, by today's standards. How do you compare to Eric Adams compared to Biden? Biden who absolutely defies anything even remotely reminiscent of, let's say, remember the Bobulinski case, Hunter, basically the Burisma case, setting up LLCs for members of his family. I mean, you've got to be kidding. This is a joke. Nothing. The big guy. I need 10 for the big guy. Millions and millions of dollars. Nothing. But Eric Adams, he gets an upgrade for okay. We'll get to some other stuff in a moment. They're gonna have a hard time proving this one, believe it or not. And one of the other things we're talking about is the fact that there was this big building, this high rise, which was built by Turkish concerns and the like, to serve as their new consulate. And the Turkish folks, the Turks, wanted the building open and inspected and ready to go before the arrival of Erdogan in 2021. Okay. They call him, by the way, a strong man. He's a strong man. He's a strong man. Yes. Okay, fine. Well, what does that mean? I don't know what it means, but it just means he's a strong man. Okay, great. Well, when the strong man, when they did it, they supposedly, and this is important, they said at the time that, and he would say, just because I went and had things done, the argument was that the how do I say this? The fire department said, we said it first. There's no way we're going to approve this because this is dangerous. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, we've got to do this or else we're going to lose our job. And this was dangerous stuff, and the building wasn't sure. And they said there's no way we're going to do it. But they said that the Turkish folks called up Eric Adams and said, listen, now it's your turn to help Turkey. So make this happen. So what he did was he went ahead and he did it. And he said, make it work. Well, first thing he's going to say is, excuse me, this is New York. This is the home of the UN. This whole week we went through UNGA, this UN General Assembly. It was horrible. Everybody's paying for all of these police, all the overtime, more cops than you can imagine. I would have loved to have seen the crime rate. Everywhere you go, cops in full, bedecked in full, camis and automatic weapons. Incredible. This is a place that has large population of diplomats, international organizations, NGOs, you name it. You see diplomatic plates all over the place. They park wherever they want. This is a foreign country that opens up a consulate, and he basically intervened. He helped to prevent, international problems. He did what he was supposed to do, whether you gave him an upgrade or not. I mean, suggesting that he kind of cut corners and forced for these inspectors under a bribery theory is ridiculous. It doesn't work. Remember Jack Smith? Jack Smith. This is a fellow who's prosecuting Trump. That was a case involving Virginia Republican Governor Robert McDonnell. Okay. And that case ended up in the Supreme Court. And it said, let me see here. Where is it? I've got right here. Here we go. This is McDonnell against the U.S. This was the holding. This is in 2016. The federal bribery statute, 18 U.S.C. 201, makes it a crime for a public official to, quote, receive or accept anything of value in exchange for being influenced in the performance of any official act. And an official act was defined as a decision or action on a, quote, question, matter, cause, suit, proceeding, or controversy. That question or matter must involve a formal exercise of governmental power and must also be something specific and focused that is pending or may by law be brought before a public official. To qualify as an official act, the public official must make a decision to take an action on that question or matter or agree to do so. And setting up a meeting, talking to another official, organizing an event without more does not fit the definition of official act. And the jury instructions were so deficient, and I think it was 8-zip. I think maybe there was one recusal, and they said, absolutely, this is not bribery. So what he's going to say, what Eric Adams is going to say, and his lawyer, is that he didn't do anything he wasn't supposed to do. If I give you $1,000 to introduce me to somebody, and you're in office, there may be a reporting problem, but that's not bribery if that's something you could have done anyway, if that's not an official. Now, if they give you $1,000 to change your vote or to do something, that's a different story. This is really strange here. As far as upgrades go, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Your upgrades. I remember the king of upgrades was my old friend, Gordon Soley. Gordon Soley was the famous wrestling announcer. And he was a Delta colonel, flying colonel or something. He had all these millions of miles and millions. This guy, he worked it better than anybody. Okay, you got the upgrade over here, you got upgrade over here. He's constantly upgrading. That's what they do, upgrade. You go to a place, give the guy, help me out. This is the guy behind the desk. He'll give you. It's funny, a suite just opened up. There's always upgrades. You've got things that are just empty. You upgrade all the time. Is this bribery? Is this bribery? Do you think you just bought the mayor of New York because he got an upgrade to the Istanbul room of the St. Regis? What? That's what they're going to say. And the jury may say, this is nonsense. Now compare that with Bob Menendez. Bob Menendez has some problem. Remember, he was acquitted at first. Then we really weren't sure. Bob Menendez, who ends up with gold bars and all kinds of stuff in his, this is too much. That's a different story. And then the U.S. Attorney's Office, they also said, basically, for all of you who do not cooperate with us, we pledge that you will be held accountable as well. So basically what they're telling other people is you better come forward, So this is something, and I want you to understand and grasp this notion that when we look at something when we look at a case, when we look at something, we don't necessarily care who the person is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I look at things, not did you do it, can you prove it? What do you charge this person with? And I know this is very difficult right now because, for example, in the Trump case, as I alluded to before, there are people who don't understand the fact that in the Trump case, people hate Trump with a passion. They hate Trump with a passion. And they can't see anything that Trump ever did outside of the fact that he is Trump. So in the particular case that was held, that was in oral argument in Trump's case, they said nobody complained. No, he overvalues them. Yeah, banks don't care what you overvalue. Banks have their own independent auditor. They evaluate this. What are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean? What does this mean? Who are these? What is this story you're trying to suggest or convey to us, dear friends? What? That Trump did what? What did he do? And Tish James and Judge Engeron, I still don't understand that one. I have a hard time still with the 34 count one. I don't even know what that means. He wrote down a legal fee, but it wasn't a legal fee. It was really an in-kind contribution, and it was to sway the election. It's bizarre. And whether you like Trump or not, it doesn't matter. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We are a country that is bound by the Constitution, not the flag, not Lee Greenwood, not I'm proud to be an American. It's the Constitution. That's the thing that we abide by. We are a constitutional republic. And whether we like somebody or not, it's a different story, period. And what we should be very upset about, especially with all the lawfare that's going on, is we are taking our system, our sacred system of law and order, and we are subverting it in order to accommodate or to accomplish a particular end result. And it's disgusting, and it's wrong, and it's that simple. So, as far as Mr. Adams goes, now he's got people in his staff. These folks, they jumped. The Caban brothers, Pearson, they maybe another story which he has nothing to do with. Shakedowns, and he is a jadrul. He is a mush-mouthed, I don't know what he is. I don't want him as mayor. I don't care for him. And Jumaane Williams, who is the public advocate, who would theoretically replace him, is worse than anything you can imagine. So for all practical purposes, as bad as he is, I don't want to necessarily remove him and replace him with another radical left lunatic. But that has something to do. That's a political issue. This is a legal issue. And the legal issue is something that we should pay attention to. And unfortunately, we don't. I have tried my best to talk to friends about abortion. As you don't understand, Roe versus, I said, what did Roe say? Well, it guaranteed. What was the federal basis? What was the constitutional basis for abortion rights? What was it? Tell me. Where was it? It was a notion of privacy. And privacy came off of Griswold in 1965, the contraception case. It's bizarre. It's also substantive due process. People have been screaming about Roe forever. So if you want to have a federal law, pass a federal law, fine. But nobody made abortion illegal in this country. Nobody. Abortion is not illegal in this country. It's not. It's not. It is not guaranteed by the Constitution, nor is the Air Force. The number of the Constitution doesn't even speak to the number of justices. The Constitution doesn't talk about one man, one vote, marriage, voting, nothing. People have this idea that the Constitution contains every mention of everything. It doesn't work like that. Now, a couple of cases to listen to. Number one, you have no idea what the Diddy case is going to be. Diddy makes that other fellow whose name begins with the fifth letter of the alphabet, who was dispatched in his cell. His case is nothing compared to what Diddy is. Nothing. Wait until you see this. You're not going to believe it. Because everybody is freaking out. And why they brought this, I have no idea. Number one. Number two, lover boy Nathan Wade. Nathan Wade decided when they were trying to serve him to appear before a congressional hearing, he was nowhere to be found. The dumbest man ever. He went on CNN with that Caitlin Collins, whatever, the one who's got the eyebrow, who looks very angry all this. What was she? What is she? He basically said, yes, we were the romantic. And now he's going to go and basically tell Jim Jordan that he wasn't romantic. He's an idiot. Fannie Willis is another idiot. In fact, this is what I'm calling ultimately this, and I did it before, the clueless five. And the number one, do you know who the number one most corrupt politician in America today is? Who is it? Number one, by the way, Nathan Wade is the only one who has Wade on the barrel of his cuff. Wade spells it out, not his initials. Not his monogram, his name, Wade. Okay. Who is the most corrupt? Biden? Nope. The most corrupt, the most flagrant, and the most stupid of anybody on the face of the earth, and the most corrupt. Who is it? The number one most corrupt. Pelosi. Nope. No. These are cool, calculated. Joe Biden. Nope. Nope. Fani. Nope. Fauci. Nope. Not even close. Not even close. By the way, Zelensky, when he met with Trump today, that basically says Trump's winning. Trump's winning. Trump's going to win this thing because for them to have him, any time else, Biden would have said, if you dare, with the pending election, you dare meet with Trump, you're through. You won't get a penny from us. He did it. That's also the fact that Biden despises gay mala. Okay, the answer is this. Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard. Who has not heard of Tiffany Henyard? Dolton, Dolton, Illinois super mayor. Tiffany Henyard. Have you seen her? Do me a favor. Spend a little time. When you're done, go to YouTube or whatever it is. Look up Tiffany Henyard. She can't even pronounce her name. She is below moron. As corrupt. They were going to repossess the police cars of her town. I mean, she spends hair and makeup, and she hasn't even been arrested. Tiffany Henyard, just do me a favor. You will not believe what you're saying. That's all I'm saying. It's the most incredible. Now, of course, I've mentioned of the 5 people, they're all black, African American, the whole group. What does that mean? I don't know. When people talk about the mob, it's like, hey, they're all Sicilian. What does that mean? I don't know. It means like, well, just so happens. We talked about Watergate. They were all white. Sometimes, because that's the race card. And going back to what Eric Adams has to do with, because I'm a black man and because I dare to speak up against the Biden administration regarding immigration. That's why you're doing this to me. And that's going to be his thing. The race card, the race card, the race. It's so boring. Nobody even cares about it. All right, dear friends, I want to thank you. Thank you for, I hope I've enlisted, I hope I've explained a little bit to you the problems that the government's going to have. Again, this does not mean you like Eric Adams. Doesn't mean you want him to be mayor. It has nothing to do with this. This is not a political analysis. This is a legal analysis. And with a legal analysis comes problems that the government's going to have to deal with. And nobody should be brought to answer charges unless they are absolutely positively guilty. All right? You got that? All right, dear friends. Thank you so very much. It was an honor speaking with you. Thank you make sure you are subscribed. Do me a favor, Lionel Legal. Tell your friend, Lionel Legal. We have the other channel, Lionel Nation, which we meet at 8 a.m., 7 p.m., and various live events and the like. And this is the chance for me to make you smarter. So you'll be able to wow your friends and say, I think that I think it's such and such. And remember, I am a political atheist. I don't really care about the parties. Parties mean nothing to me. I believe in the truth, what makes sense. And if somebody makes sense, I don't care who your party is, whatever. If it makes sense to me, I'm for the policy, not the party. I'm for the policy. You got that? And there's one policy I always maintain, and that's adherence to the Constitution. All right, dear friends, I'll be back at Lionel Nation at 7 p.m. Make sure you switch from there to here. Thanks so much for being a part of this. Thanks so much for being a part of not really who you are, but what you appear to be. Thank you for the illusion of concern that you're able to maintain and do it so well. Anyway, also follow If you are interested in what is happening to the world of children, how they have been just basically absconded, disappeared every single day from our planet, go to my beloved Lynn's Warriors YouTube channel. She has an interview with a young lady whose life you cannot believe anybody ever lived and anyone ever survived. That's at Lynn's Warriors. You cannot believe the horrors that these people have gone through. And also, as you plumb the depths of the sewer called hip hop and entertainment and Hollyweird. All right, my friends, that's it. Have a great and a glorious day. See you next time. And don't forget, until we meet again, remember these final words: the monkey's dead, the show's over. Sue ya. Da, da.